I'm thinking we should.
At Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York, Pix 11 presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the New York Yankees. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your local Buick dealer. By Chase, make more of what's yours. By Ford, for great deals on Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit buyfordnow.com. By the new Volvo XC40, designed with everything in mind. By Dunkin' Go-To's, double deals made for go-getters. And by the Lincoln Motor Company. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Yankee Stadium. Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez join me in just a moment as the Mets play the second game of their series against the Yankees. Last night, Yoenis Cespedes made his return to the lineup successfully. Hit a home run his second time up, got on base 3 times. After the game, though, Yoenis dropped a bombshell. Said that if he's ever going to be fully healthy, he needs to have surgery on both his heels. Recovery time an estimated 8 to 10 months. It's 13 hours since Cespedes made those comments, and we haven't heard from anybody in the Mets front office to react. So that left Mickey Callaway to try and clean up the mess this morning. 10:30, his press conference. He said he really hadn't heard much about Cespedes' comments and really could not provide a whole lot of insight.
You know, the really most difficult part for me in the press conference was listening to Mickey being paraded up there, really. And in his words, he had an inability to answer or did not want to answer a firing line of questions that kept peppering this press conference. In my 13 years, it was the most uncomfortable press conference because there were so many things that are happening during the night, whether it's familiar, most important, of course, Cespedes, and no one had any answers.
And, of course, if Cespedes were to have the surgery, we're talking about an impact not only on this year, but next year as well. And Cespedes let that information out last night. First time he talked to the media in 2 months.
Well, I found it quite odd that he waited until after his return. 55 games he's missed over 2 months, and he chose not to talk to the media during that period, and now drops, as you said, Garrett, this bombshell. To me, I don't know what's coming or going. I'm at a loss right now, and there's an obvious disconnect going on here.
Well, it's up to the front office to let everybody know what's going on. We're waiting for that information just as you are, and we'll find out what's going to be with Cespedes as soon as we do find out from the Mets front office. Mets and Yankees coming up from the Bronx. ready for the most eagerly anticipated sequel of the summer as the New York Mets and Marvel Entertainment present the Noah Syndergaard as Thor bobblehead Saturday night, August 4th, when the Mets play the Braves. First 25,000 fans will receive a limited edition collectible courtesy of Delta Airlines. Get your tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Themes of the game brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealer.
See the Yankees last night, 14-man left on base. A lot of singles for the Yanks, no home runs. Steven Matz, you see his numbers against the Yankees. He's been better on the road this year than at home. And Giancarlo Stanton, 11.27 at-bats versus the Mets, a home run.
Matz for the Mets, Sonny Gray for the Yankees. First pitch coming up from the Bronx. Long before interleague play began, Mets and Yankees fans had to be content with the Mayor's Trophy game, where the Mets and Yankees got together for an exhibition every summer. Pretty lighthearted, but you know, they played hard because beating the Yankees was big for the Mets, and well, for George Steinbrenner, beating the Mets was important too.
Oh, big time.
So Casey Stengel holding the Mayor's Trophy. There actually was a trophy.
That's right.
Mayor Wagner established the Mayor's Trophy game.
Not quite the Stanley Cup, but you know what I'm talking about.
You know, local pride and all that. Mets lineup brought to you by Bob's. Everything's better with a Bob-O-Pedic. So Cespedes is still on the active roster, but he is sore today after his return to the lineup last night, so he is out as Dribble Cabrera will DH. Jose Reyes gets a start at second base as the Mets go up against the veteran right-hander Sonny Gray.
Well, it's been a tough season for Sonny Gray. All you have to do is look at the numbers. But 9 days ago, 9 days rest, he had 6 scoreless innings against the Baltimore Orioles.
And the Yankee defense brought to you by purplebricks.com. You've got Greg Bird in first place. Austin Romine, who's doing 36th game behind the plate. He's the backup catcher. And in the outfield, you've got Aaron Judge's 76th start out in right. And Stanton, who has a terrific arm, has played more left field than right. This is his 29th start in left.
Stanton was in right last night. Judge DH'd in last night's game. Gorgeous afternoon. A little light breeze blowing in. Supposed to rain later today. Somewhat torrentially, we hear, but we should get this game in well before that starts.
Stanton has played more games, as Keith said, in left field, but he has not looked as comfortable in left field as he does in right.
Yeah, he's also DH'd a ton.
Yeah.
About half the games for the Yankees this year. Mixed family.
That's probably because of those piano wire hamstrings he's got.
Well, keeping him on the field has been a challenge over the years. Brandon Nimmo leads off. Nimmo 1 for 4 last night, trying to get his season restarted, hitting just 162 over his last 20 games. Sonny Gray making his 19th start of the year, trying to get his season recalibrated as well. And Gray's first pitch of the afternoon is a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway. Nimmo, Cabrera, and Flores against Gray in the first. If you're in a rush, sorry, Sonny Gray does not work at a particularly quick tempo.
Even his motion is in slow motion. He'd have a hard time at Candlestick on a windy day. He'd be like Stu Miller.
It is breezy today, wind blowing out of the east in from left field. And a breaking ball misses down, a ball and a strike to Nimmo. Gray now 28 years old, Smyrna, Tennessee native. Great baseball and football and high school musical star.
There you go.
Went to Vanderbilt with Mike Minor and David Price and those guys.
A renaissance young man.
Taking low 2-1, but it's been weird with Gray the last few years. I mean, last year he had a very effective season, started in Oakland, traded at the deadline to the Yankees. But this year it's just been a nightmare. He had 3 starts with a 12.27 ERA before that last successful one against the Orioles. And that's kind of the way his year's gone. Grounded up the first baseline, foul, 2-2.
Well, it's up to you to decide, but if you find this a trend, let me know. First 80 games for Sonny Gray, 36-21, 2.87 ERA. Last 63 games, 18-29 ERA, 2 runs more.
And it has not helped him pitching in this ballpark. It has been a nightmare for him pitching at Yankee Stadium. Those are just the numbers he signed.
I know. Truck is outstanding.
You guys are total sync. Eddie Warman on top of it in graphics, and the breaking ball strikes out Nimmo for the first out of the day.
Wood Brandon struck out 3 times last night. And they may have found some holes in his strike zone.
94 strikeouts now for Nimmo and 266 at bats, better than a strikeout every 3 at bats. So 1 out and nobody on. Now has Dribble Cabrera. Cabrera 2 for 5 last night, drove in a run. He's DHing today. And he continues to up his value on a daily basis. What a terrific year Cabrera's had. Gray gets the fastball in for a strike. Who's Hot brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. That's what Asdrubal has done over the last 21 games. But really, other than one cold streak in early June,
Right.
he's been good all year. Curveball from Gray in for a strike, 0-2.
Was he like 4 for 41,
Yeah.
something like that, right? The Brewers, who lost out on Machado, are hot on the heels of Mr. Cabrera. They need a middle infielder, specifically a second baseman.
Yeah, Jonathan VR has had a really rough year. They've been kind of mixing and matching at that spot recently.
Well, it looks like we have a home plate umpire in Larry Vanover, who likes to call strikes. Last night, Harry Wendelstedt had a very tight strike zone.
So did Hunter.
Oh, that's true. Excuse me.
Curveball bounced slowly down to first, right at the bag for Bird, and that's the second out.
Oh.
So they water the field except for the lead area at first and the sliding area at second.
I don't know if it's the slight OCD that I have, but I do not like that. I want it all the same color. I don't understand why. I guess they're trying to make those drier parts because that's where you cut the bag and take your lead, etc.
I mean, the baseline from first to home and from third to home not watered as well.
Well, if you notice, the pitching mound last night, which was very distinct on white and kind of darker dirt, is all white today. That probably is Sonny Gray, who has let the ground crew know that he wants it the same color.
Wilmer Flores 0 for 4 last night, and the curveball misses inside, a ball and a strike.
Eventually, the sun will dry out the watered part of the infield, and it should all become one. That's a little overthink. I agree, Ron. It's too many nights staying up late thinking this thing over. It's very simple.
I'm sure there's some metric somewhere that says that if you keep the dirt drier, then you have some kind of measured advantage.
I'm just going for the aesthetics. These are people coming to watch the game.
1-2 coming to Wilmer, and the curveball struck him out. And Sonny Gray with a successful first inning. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Steven Matz heads to the mound for the Mets. No score in the first in the Bronx. Go for the win with take 5 against the left-hander. Aaron Boone bunches his 3 best power hitters, Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez, in the 2, 3, and 4 spots. Brandon Drury gets a start. So does Austin Romine. 2 lefties in the lineup against Steven Matz.
Well, it's going to be a tough row for Steven this afternoon. The Yankees against left-handed starting pitchers are 27-6 this year, but his ERA on the road is a run less than it is overall. 2.25 ERA on the road for Steven.
Pitching on 8 days rest after taking a loss against Washington his last time out. Game he pitched into the 7th. Aaron Hicks gets the leadoff spot with Brett Gardner getting the day off against the lefty. 20th time Hicks has led off this year. And he takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Hicks 1 for 4 last night. Yankees banged out 14 hits and left 14 runners on base, a rare game in which they did not homer. In fact, only the second game in July that they didn't homer. But, you know, one of the Yankee issues is scoring without the home run, and I think we saw that last night. Hicks goes after a high fastball, and it's 1-2.
This is Hicks's natural side, although he has hit better from the left side this year.
Aaron Judge on deck, then Giancarlo Stanton. One-two from Matz, and a high fastball fouled back. Steven, since the 1st of May, has a 2.91 ERA. In fact, his season's ERA is now at 3.38, which is now in the top 10 in the National League. He has grown by leaps and bounds this year, not the least of which he's been able to stay on the field for now 19 starts. And the curveball grounded toward the hole. Rosario on the backhand. The running throw right on target to get Hicks. Beautiful play by Rosario for the first out.
Boy, I'll say that's a fine play, and that's all about the release. The backhand, throwing on the run, and accurately, because Hicks can fly. That is not an easy play right there. Fantastic, as a matter of fact.
Nice thing about young players, right? He had a really bad game last night at the plate and in the field, and he starts the next day with a brilliant play. 1 out. Here's Aaron Judge. 3 for 5 last night, and he hits that one to Rosario on a beautiful backhand stop, but he can't make the transfer cleanly, and Judge beats it out. Well, Rosario almost had another gem in the kip, but the bobble cost him the play, and Judge has an infield hit.
Another beautiful backhand on the dive, and just the exchange wasn't solid there, and that's the difference. He would have thrown him out.
One thing never talked about with Aaron Judge is that even though with the bobble, he's got real good speed for a guy 6'7".
So 1 out and 1 on. And now Giancarlo Stanton, who drove in a couple of runs last night. He's been the Yankees' best against lefties by far. He's hitting .366 against left-handers. 10 of his 23 home runs have come against left-handed pitching. And he's got 2 home runs in his career against Steven Matz in 12 at-bats. Grounded slowly, cut off by Bautista, out at second, and Reyes can't make a turn with Judge bearing in on him. That's the second out.
And a very clean slide. It did not advance past the bag, actually just slid into the bag. And that's the one play with the new rule now, and breaking up a double play. Just slide into the bag.
Did Bautista need to throw that ball harder?
I'd like to see that again.
I would say that you always want him to throw it harder, but I don't know where Reyes was. You know, was he in a position where, you know, he was close to the base? Maybe he had to time it, you know?
So now Stanton at first with 2 out. Here's Gary Sanchez, who made his return from the DL last night. 1 for 5 at the plate and a rough night behind the plate as well.
Well, here's the play again here, and I don't think so, Gary. I think that's he got rid of it quick. It wasn't a very accurate throw, that's for sure. He threw into the runner, and like I said, a very clean, hard slide into second base just made that an impossibility for Reyes to turn.
Sanchez hits it in the air to center field. Dendecker has room with the wind blowing in, and he puts it away to retire the side. An infield hit and 1 left. After 1, Mets and Yankees, no score. George Steinbrenner. Here's Casey. It was a quarter of the answer to our trivia question last night.
That's right. I got it right, Keith. You left the booth for a second. Dallas Green was the 4th manager.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Managed for both the Mets and the Yankees.
Derek Jeter, who never managed the Mets or the Yankees.
Well, there it is.
Not yet.
Well, he's got other things on his mind, trying to stay ahead of the Mets. Marlins percentage points ahead of the Mets coming into the day. Here's Michael Conforto leading off the second, and he drives one out to deep right field. Back goes Judge near the wall. It's out of here. Michael Conforto, who had a terrific game last night coming back from the All-Star break, jumps on the first pitch he sees today for his 12th home run of the year. And the Mets have another early lead, 1-0 Mets. Terrific signs for Conforto. trying to bust out post the All-Star break.
Well, they got on that one.
Very hard to catch the ball in your cap, by the way.
He squares up this fastball here, and that's something that Michael hasn't been able to do. Been a little tardy. Well, those are just tremendous signs these first 2 games so far.
3 RBIs last night. Home run first time up today. Now Jose Bautista 1 for 4 in last night's game. For all his other difficulties, Gray has not been giving up a ton of home runs. That's the 12th he's allowed this year in 19 starts.
12.
First run of the game brought to you by Hyundai's epic summer sales event.
For you folks at home, 12 turns into about, over the course of the season for Gray, maybe, 20, maybe 18 to 20. That's a good year, especially in this ballpark.
In this era, in this park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bounce foul. The funny thing is, you look at Gray this year compared to last. He had a pretty good year last year, right? His ERA is up by 2 runs per game. His home run rate is the same. Yeah. His walk rate is up slightly, but not significantly. His strikeout rate is about the same. But he's given up so many more hits this year. And when you look at the metrics on him, part of the reason is that he's just been in the middle of the plate more than in the past. And he was there. Oh. And a great stop by Gregorius, throwing from his knees on a hop. Bird flags it down. Both shortstops have turned in a gem early in this game. Gregorius with a flat-out robbery of Bautista for the first out.
Well, usually, I mean, everybody's had their coffee this morning. They're ready to go. What a terrific play. And then had the wherewithal just to throw from his knees, not try to overthrow the ball and give the first baseman a long hop. Just really a fabulous play.
All the good shortstops I've ever seen, once they get the ball, there's no rush. There's no frenetic way about them. They just take their time and get it done.
It's not a great internal clock.
Really, it's nice.
Kevin Plawecki, who finished out well before the All-Star break, went 4 for 8 in the series against the Nationals. He takes a curveball outside 2-0.
We're seeing more and more of that guard across the exposed chin.
The C flap.
Yeah.
That would have. Yeah. See, I should know. I forgot the name of it. It's just not in my vocabulary.
You don't need to have it. We'll pick you up on that one.
It looks awful.
Well, you didn't even use a flap. Forget about the C flap. How about no flap?
You didn't have the ear flap.
Mm-mm.
And 3-1 to Plawecki. Well, what's fascinating to me is how many hitters have adopted the C flap who have not had an issue, not had an incident of being struck. Plawecki, skies went out to left, and Stanton comes in a few strides.
I will say, though, Gary, if you have made it to this level as an everyday player, everyone has a story where they've been hit. Maybe not at the professional level, maybe not in the major league level, but everyone has a story about being hit in the head. So that would, I think, sometimes propel you to go, you know what, I don't want that to happen again.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, most guys who are getting to the majors now, when they were youngsters, they had to use, what, a full cage?
Oh, yeah. Full cage.
So they've had some experience with that.
It depends on the league, but at least double flaps.
Right.
You're not talking about lacrosse, are you?
We're talking about Little League Baseball.
We're talking about Mr. Frazier. They
keep getting.
Somebody got tied.
They got him yesterday too.
That was a common. Frankie Viola.
Rosario lifts one to right, and Judge coming toward the line, and that retires the side, but not before Michael Conforto gives the Mets the early lead. Somebody tell Todd about the gum. 1-0 Mets. Now, it obviously is not shortly before the game, because you will never see traffic move like that outside Yankee Stadium.
Keith and I took the McCombs Bridge. We went all the way to the west side, came down the Henry Hudson. That was the only way to get to the west side.
I drove up today around 10 o'clock, around 9:45, and it was a breeze up to Henry Hudson to that nice little parking lot, which we won't reveal.
Steven Matz up and in with his first pitch to Didi Gregorius. Didi's been hot, 3 hits last night, and he's 5 for 10 in his career against Matz, and so Steven sending a little early message. By the way, if you're coming here, take the subway.
Yeah.
It's a curveball that stays up and in. It's 2-0.
Boy, fastball up and in as Didi trying to get out of the way, and they threw a breaking ball right at him, and he flinched.
Well, Matz loves to pitch inside. And he throws one down the middle for a strike, 2-1.
He's throwing a tick harder. And,
yes, he is.
Talked about that, Gary. 8 days rest, you said?
Yep.
Right.
He's got good, lively fastball today.
This is a New York kid. You want to pitch well in the stadium.
And he really never has pitched well against the Yankees. 4 career starts, 6.75 ERA. His only time pitching against them this year was at Citi Field, where he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings and no decision. Gil Andujar on deck, and then Greg Bird, and Gregorius fouls off the fastball.
You always wanted to play well in Candlestick Park, didn't you?
Oh yeah, of course. Even when it was freezing.
Shallow center, and Dendecker comes on. 1 out. Have we done the defense yet, Keith?
No, we haven't, and it's brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And we'll do the infield first. Reyes, his 3rd start at second base. Batista at 3rd again, who's done a spectacular job. And in the outfield, kind of interesting, Conforto and Nimmo have both been moved to the corner outfield positions. And it's 19th start in left for Michael, and also the 19th start for Nimmo in right. What a coincidence.
Symmetry.
I know. I got this text that said, what about the defense? So I guess that's Toyota's number.
Miguel Andujar was 2 for 5 last night. Good changeup by Matz, who gave up a home run to Andujar at Citi Field earlier this year. You know, when you give the defense and mention Nimmo and Conforto move to the corners, we talked about last night. Well, that's probably going to change because, you know, Cespedes is back. He's going to be playing the outfield. Bruce will be back. Well, now we have no idea.
Yeah.
Hit hard, and a nice easy hop for Rosario as that ball came up. And Andujar retired 2 out.
Well, you know, with that shot of Cespedes, I'm just thinking, I wrote this down. Mets are playing with 21 people today.
Right.
Cespedes out, Familia pending, Lugo and Gesellman, too many bullets.
Well, the word is that Familia is on the verge of being traded to Oakland. They're exchanging physicals, and that should be done by sometime later today. They were hoping maybe it'd be done before the game, and then the Mets could have activated a player to take his spot, but that didn't transpire. And as for the other 2 guys you mentioned, Lugo threw 56 pitches last night, and Gesellman wasn't far behind. It was 43.
Yeah, it was like 100 between both, right?
44. So it was exactly 100.
And Familia's had some physical issues, so certainly the A's taking some scrutiny to those X-rays.
Conforto toward the line, picks off Bird's fly ball, and Matz has himself a 1-2-3 second inning. After 2, 1-0 Mets. W centers. Manny Machado made his debut with the Dodgers last night, on base 4 times in their win over the Brewers. Dodgers extended their lead to a game and a half over Arizona, 2 games over Colorado. Matt Den Decker leads off for the Mets in the 3rd against Sonny Gray. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Den Decker making his 5th start. Still looking for his first hit. He's gone 0 for 14.
Well, laying one down.
Den Decker and then Reyes and Nimmo for the Mets in the 3rd. Curveball bounces away. 1-1. We mentioned Sonny Gray and the fact that he has struggled recently. You look at his numbers at Yankee Stadium since becoming a Yankee, and they're kind of scary. 13 starts in this ballpark since he was traded last year. His ERA is 7.10.
8.25 this year.
Yeah.
Keith, you probably want to close your ears on this one. One of the reasons he struggled this year is that 22.7% line drive rate, 34.3% hard contact rate. So those are the highs for his career. He is being hit hard and often by analytics.
Yeah, you can condense that and say he's getting killed at Yankee Stadium. I had a better term I wanted to use, but I didn't want to,
Well, you've already used that.
Den Decker goes down on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Gray. 1 out in the 3rd.
I think one of the best parts of analytics, in my opinion, is that how you can use it to acquire players you think are going to adapt to your kind of system. The Yankees, Gary mentioned last night, throw the breaking ball more than just about any staff in baseball, maybe the most. So identifying that Sonny Gray has a good breaking ball, he can spin it with a good changeup, probably entice them to think this is a guy that we can use in our way of pitching that is going to be highly effective, like Houston has done for Charlie Morton and others.
Right. I think particularly the ballparks that are quirky and tiny, like Yankee Stadium, there's got to be analytics about, pitchers giving up home runs to right field. That's the kind of guy you wouldn't want. That wouldn't make sense.
Against left-handers, right?
Or even right-handers on
yeah.
the opposite field. I'm sure they have all the defense shifting on Reyes now big time on the right side with 2 strikes. Interesting.
You saw that baseball card on Sonny Gray. His best year 2015 when he finished 3rd in the Cy Young. He's been kind of an every other year phenomenon, right? He had that great year in 15, not a good year in 16, bounced back last year, had a nice year, traded in the middle of the season, and this year he's gone south again. Reyes takes a fastball for strike 3 called, and Gray has back-to-back strikeouts to start the 3rd.
The old inside fastball with 2 strikes.
That's the one Hunter Wendelstedt was not calling last night that Larry Vanover is today.
Well, Larry may got the weather report.
Just took a look over to the Mets dugout, and he just threw somebody out of the game. Larry looked over there. He looked back. Whoever it was didn't stop. And he just ran somebody out of here.
Now Ressler is yelling at him.
And Larry Vanover keeps going back at Pat Ressler. And I don't know if it was Pat who was ejected, but it would appear so.
Yeah, it is Pat.
Mets hitting coach has been ejected from the game, it would appear. And down the tunnel he goes.
Rabbit ears.
All umpires have a reputation. The reputation for Vanover is he's got some rabbit ears, and you'll hear the comments from the bench. But the other kind of reputation he has is that he can have a floating strike zone. What do I mean by that? That it can change from one part of the game to the other. That can irritate teams also.
Well, there's another factor here too, which is that the dugouts at Yankee Stadium are particularly close to home plate, and so whatever an umpire is inclined to hear, he can hear that much more clearly.
And it's a day game, you know. Everybody's a little bit more, cranky, and a little less patient.
I find you perfect today. Not cranky at all.
Me?
Yeah, lots of patience.
I'm getting older. I'm relaxed.
Top of your game, Keith.
Oh yeah.
Nimmo grounds one into the shift, and Brandon Drury throws him out, and Gray's got himself a 1-2-3 top of the third. Steven Matz heads back to the mound. Larry Vanover trying to cool down.
There's two number 8s.
Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra, right?
Yep. Yep.
Brandon Drury leads off the home third.
They'll let you know about it too. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting that Brandon Drury leads off and he hits it deep to left field. Back goes Conforto near the wall. He has room. The wind brought it back, and Conforto reels it in. Wind's been blowing in from left field right from the start of the game, out of the east at about 15 miles an hour, and that saves Steven Matz's bacon. Turns into a long first out for Drury.
A little bit towards the end.
Doesn't get a lot of playing time.
I know
that's a hang with him.
I know this is not the old ballpark, but back in the days of DiMaggio in that old stadium, boy, it was a bolt to get it out of the left field.
Aljon Frito's catch. Back. Hey, made a one-handed catch against the bullpen.
Oh, that's the call.
Doctor.
That's the call.
That's the call. That's where Chris Berman got it from, the whole back thing.
Nothing's original anymore. It all comes from someplace.
Well, the game's been around since
exactly. It all comes from
National
someplace.
League 1876, so it's hard to be completely original. You could spell baseball with 2 words. That's been done.
That's right.
Austin Romine slices one foul. Romine's having his best offensive season. He's only had 122 at bats. Already has a career high 6 home runs. Hit 218 last year, hitting 270 this year.
He's been hurt, but he has been Sonny Gray's kind of personal catcher since Gray got off to a rough start this year. Good arm speed by Matz on his changeup today so far.
Anyway, so Romine's wearing number 28, which is his 7th different number since he's joined the Yankees. And this number he was able to get because, remember, the manager was wearing 28 last year.
Right.
Looking forward to what he hoped would be a 28th World Series title, having changed his number.
Bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, well, he'll be back in a managerial chair before long.
Yes, he will.
Some people speculated that he might eventually get the Cardinals job, which now belongs to Mike Schilt on an interim basis after Mike Matheny's fired.
Yeah, I think Schilt will probably finish the year. See how the Cardinals do. They rebounded nicely yesterday.
Did very nicely yesterday. 18 runs. Got him looking. Steven Matz with a two-seamer gets Romine for the second out. His first strikeout. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Hyundai. Get an epic deal at the Hyundai Epic Summer Sales event going on now at your Hyundai dealer. The other thing about Schilt is, you know, his reputation in the Cardinals organization is as the keeper of George Kissel's flame.
Yes.
The guy who wrote the book on the Cardinal Way. So it'll be interesting to see whether, you know, an organization that seems to have lost its way the last couple of years, whether maybe that's something they're looking to get back to.
Yeah, he can maybe revitalize that. Also, I think he's there because he has a lot of experience in raising, teaching, managing, and leading a lot of the young players that they have in their organization. And, you know, there were stories of some of the players trying to be hard, old school on some of the younger players, and that game doesn't work today. I don't care how much you try to do it.
Well, I really feel, I mean, the Cardinals are leading the major leagues in errors. They're living off of that. It's really a PR, the old Cardinal way. I don't think it's there anymore. They don't play that way. They've all have caved into the new brand of baseball.
4-pitch walk to Aaron Hicks. First walk given up by Matz, and then they'll get Judge up with a man on.
Those are the little things that happen in a game, and it happened to me hundreds of times that I used to step behind the mound like Steven is now, and you want to kick yourself. You know, you got to give yourself a chance against Hicks in that at bat because you don't want to see this big man come up.
And Judge has swung a very good bat in this series so far, the first 2 games.
3 hits last night. A scorching ground ball his first time up today for an infield hit. And he flies one out to center. Playable for Dendecker or Nimmo. And they come together, and Dendecker makes the catch. Side retired. Dendecker was calling all the way. Not sure if Nimmo ever heard him.
Well,
with the 45,000 screaming.
Dendecker is not shy.
No, he's got a center fielder's mentality. 1-0 Mets after 3. Hello.
Yankee Stadium won't be the same picture without that glove and the man behind the glove. Joe DiMaggio announces his retirement after 13 seasons with the Yanks. His bosses, Topping and Webb, and his manager, Casey Stengel, will miss the great center fielder who said recurring injuries made him decide to quit at 37.
He couldn't have been very happy about that.
Wasn't it a heel problem that ended his career?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Of course, they had a pretty good guy to take over in center field.
Yeah.
They did.
That Mantle kid.
He did all right.
As Dribble Cabrera leads off in the fourth, Mets with a 1-0 lead on the strength of a Michael Conforto home run. That's been the Mets' only base runner against Sonny Gray through the first three. Cabrera grounded out his first time up and goes after a first pitch slider, 0-1. Cabrera, Flores, and Conforto. Gray coming off 6 scoreless innings his last start against the Orioles, and he's been pretty sharp early on in this game. And Cabrera thinking about a bunt with Andujar playing back and well off the line.
Sonny Gray's curveball, it's really got a lot of break, which again, you can, that kind of break and this kind of curveball, it's got a lot of spin rate, I'm telling you.
In the air, down deep to right field. Judge back to the track, right to the wall to make the catch. Cabrera got it off the end of the bat, almost had enough to get it out.
Look at Gray's reaction. He thought it was gone, not even looking. Now he looks. Oh, thank you.
He's
got away with one.
He's seen a few of those fly out over that short porch.
Well, a lot of times when you think you gave up a home run, you look at your catcher. If the catcher is still eyeballing it, then you go, oh, wait a minute, I might have a shot. Because if the catcher puts his head down, then you know you're done.
How did you, Ronnie, when you pitched here, you had to be cognizant of the right field fence? How did you like it?
It was not fun.
It also wasn't as bad then.
Yeah.
This new ballpark, the old one, the outfield wall and right bowed out a little bit. Here it goes straight across. It's much shorter.
It gave you a little room in right center. Down the line, it might have been even shorter than it is here. And the field was bowed. So in the outfield, especially in the warning track, it almost made the fence seem higher than it is now. But boy, Judge's not too easy for him to reach over the wall.
Yeah, he's stolen a few home runs in this ballpark. Well, there's the old stadium, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner there the way that right field wall bows out a little bit. It makes a little. It seems to make a difference.
You had a lot of area behind home plate too. That's all gone.
Yeah. I remember the first time I came here with the A's, I was doing my running in the outfield. Yeah, and then no room here because every ballpark wants the fans as close as they can to the plate.
Yes, another.
Topped by Flores. Andujar has no play, and Wilmer's got himself an infield hit.
Count those on one hand, can't you?
I mean, where there's not even a throw to be made.
Right.
Wilmer burning down the line for the Mets' second hit of the day.
I was saying I was doing my running the first time I was here at Yankee Stadium. I was in Oakland A. One of the fans yells my name. I said, hey, how you doing? Hey, Ronnie Dallin, you're a bum. I was like, I'm back in New York. Very nice.
Welcome home. Here's Conforto, who crashed a home run his first time up for the only run of this game. And he lines that one. Caught. And Drury can't get it to first base in time as Wilmer dives back in.
2 good at bats, Keith, by Conforto.
He's hitting everything on the nose right now.
Yes, he has. That's a breaking ball, I believe, that he's been having difficulty with. You know, when you're struggling, when you're starting to come out, you know, when you make an out like that, it's okay because you know you swung, you're on it, and you know there's 8 gloves out there, as opposed to getting fooled and having a bad at bat. Those at bats are easier to take.
Bautista was robbed of a base hit by Gregorius his first time up. Flores at first and 2 out. Sinker at his feet for ball 1. Bautista with more home runs in this ballpark as a visiting player than anybody since the ballpark opened in 2009. Remember that first year? I don't know if it was the wind patterns or because of the development in the area, the way the ball flew out of here, even more so than it has in the ensuing seasons. Seemed like everything in the air right field just flew into the stands.
Nice crowd.
Sellout last night, looks like another today. And that's off the plate, and Gray's behind 3-0 on Bautista.
Give him the hit sign.
Yeah, he does swing 3-0.
So Cespedes homer on a 3-0 pitch last night.
Sonny Gray is all the way towards the first base part. Just a bit of his toe touching the rubber.
It's the Kevin Brown style. It's on the corner. Remember, Kevin was as far as you could possibly be.
I'd always felt occasionally he would step a couple inches in front of that rubber.
Kevin Brown had good stuff.
He did.
Heavy
sinker.
Heavy ball.
Three-1 coming. And the breaking ball outside. Threw him a 3-1 slider and missed. First walk given up by Gray, and the Mets have 2 men on.
Kevin Brown was one of those pitchers when I was over in the American League that one year in Cleveland that made me realize that it's time to
go home.
Time to retire. That I didn't have a chance against him, and a right-hander, and I'm going, I don't have a chance. And Dad never said that in my life.
I judge it this way, that when I was getting towards the end, guys that you look at and go, how did that guy get a hit off me? He's not good. And they would get hits off you, and you finally had to realize that it's not him, it's me.
So Kevin Plawecki bats with 2 out and 2 on. Kevin flied out to left his first time up.
You know, we're taking a look at Gray's foot, and it depends on how you push off the rubber. A lot of guys will push off with their whole foot, and then you have the guys that'll use just the ball of the foot to push off. That's the difference. There's some guys that need to use the whole bottom of their spike like they're a flat foot person pushing off the rubber, and there's other guys who like to really just push off with that toe plate, that rubber toe plate on their shoe.
Plawecki lays off. 1-1.
I was more of a pitcher that used his whole foot, the inside part of my right foot, to really dig in and push off from there, using, you know, the whole length of your foot. But it just depends on what makes you more comfortable.
There are some people who advocate not pushing off the rubber, but pulling off the rubber.
Pulling, yeah. To stay connected to the rubber as long as you can. Jacob deGrom does that.
1-1 to Plawecki, and it's up and away. 2-1.
Watch his motion, very compact for a right-hander in today's game. Smallish, but if you look at his legs and his lower half, very strong. Sonny Gray. That's why he can throw in the mid-90s at times.
Only 5'10".
If that.
Listed.
Yeah.
5'10". Plawecki grounds one to short. Gregorius makes the play for the force, and that retires the side. Mets strand a couple in the 4th. They still lead 1-0. at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. So you got teams from Queens and the Bronx playing, so we figured we'd show you Brooklyn.
Nice.
There's Coney Island.
Very underrated, the aquarium over there, guys, if you ever want to go. Great shark exhibit.
Be sure to stop by MCU Park to watch the Cyclone.
Of course.
You remember all the old photos back in like the 30s and the 40s, and Coney Island just jammed with people?
Yes, indeed. Giancarlo Stanton leading off the home fourth, meaning you could get there for a subway ride.
That's right.
Still can.
My godparents were New Yorkers, and they met on Coney Island Beach. Adele and George Ross.
Just randomly?
They were in the neighborhood, grew up in Brooklyn, and they married on the beach. And they didn't marry on the beach; they met. And
that was quick.
Became my godparents. One of my dad's best friends.
Swinging 3-0. Stanton tops one down to Bautista, and he's got an infield hit. Just like Flores before him. Stanton didn't get much of it on 3-0, but enough to get him aboard with a leadoff single. Only the second hit against Matz. Both have been infield hits. Yankees have had more than their share of infield hits in this series. Now Gary Sanchez, who's DHing today, flied out to center his first time. And all of a sudden the plate moving around on Matz a little bit. Today's high-speed pitch comes from Infinity and Power the Drive. It's tied. And there's a strike.
Cutter, 2-0 by Matz. Starting to feel confident physically to throw whatever is needed to get hitters out.
Down tip held by Plawecki. 2-2.
So 2 cutters in, you can stay there, or you can try to do what Kivas said he could do. He hasn't done it yet. That dot that fastball away.
Just missed somewhere.
That's the floating strike zone I'm talking about. That's a strike.
Plawecki thought it was a strike here.
Plawecki's talking to Vanover without turning around.
You gotta have it.
Always a good idea.
Can't miss that pitch. It's a 2-2.
Now a full count. Stanton at first, nobody out. Not running. And Sanchez goes down on the up and away fastball. Second strikeout for Matz, so he had to strike him out twice.
Wants it in and got it up out of the strike zone right down the middle. The old tantalizing upstairs fastball.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now D.D. Gregorius, who flied out to center his first time up. And D.D. nubs one foul.
Boy, Didi took a good at bat in his last at bat. That double he rifled down the left field line that got the Yankees closer. That was some good hitting.
That's drilled to center field. Dendecker cutting over. Can't get it. It rolls to the wall. Stanton on his way to third. He'll score easily. Gregorius heads for third. He arrives safely with an RBI triple, and the Yankees have tied it at 1. A bullet by Gregorius. Dendecker came close.
I thought Dendecker got a bad angle on this. He misjudged it and had to change his line on the ball, and that was the difference. He broke in at first and then realized it was hit a little bit better than he thought. Deeper. Oh boy, he thinks it's going to get caught. How about that?
So now the infield in with Andujar at the plate. He grounded out to short his first time up. Everybody in except Reyes is playing, or excuse me, Bautista is playing back at third.
I've never seen this defensive alignment. Bautista back behind Rosario, who's in, and their spacing is 5 steps away.
You know, we've seen it, but only this year.
Yeah,
and
right.
only with the Mets.
And
with Reyes playing third.
Reyes in third, right, Gary?
Down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. And it's a fan reached over the wall. It's a fair ball, and they're going to call it fan interference. So the run will score. Gregorius comes in to make it 2-1 Yankees, but the first base umpire Chris Guccione immediately ruled fan interference as a fan clearly reached over the wall. Ball would have been in play.
His first call was that it was fair, and then he made the obvious fan interference.
Nice catch, but that guy will get thrown out.
Yeah, adios.
So it's a double for Andujar on the fan interference, and the Yankees take their first lead in this series. So a single, a triple, and a double. 2 runs are home, and here's Bird. And he takes a curveball for a strike. Very rare that that kind of call gets made with no consultation, no review, but it was so clear cut.
Clear cut, but it tells you that Chris Guccione took charge too. Like to see that from your umpires.
Bird flying out to left his first time up. This all began with Stanton swinging at a 3-0 pitch and topping a slow ground ball for an infield hit. And Bird pops one up in foul ground, and that'll go out of play. Let's look at Dendecker's route to the ball on Gregorius' triple.
And watch the top of your screen here, Dendecker on this break here. Then he realized I better get back. Took a wrong route to the ball, and that's the difference right there. And that's why you saw Didi Gregorius kind of come out of the box, thought it was going to get caught.
Curve ball hit out to center field. Back goes Dendecker a long way back, and he can't get it. It's off his glove. Andujar will come around and score. Bird stops at second. Another ball that Dendecker might have caught but did not. This one goes for a double for Bird, and it's 3-1 Yankees.
Tough chance for Dendecker here. He ran a long way for this ball and was an over the shoulder attempt of the catch here. He got a glove on it.
Doesn't discount that the ball is being hit on the nose by the Yankees in this inning.
I thought his first step going back was a little tentative, and that might have cost him in the end. But quite an effort on the warning track. Couldn't quite reel it in. Dave Allen has gone to the mound to talk to Matz.
We've seen Matz through his last 10 starts or so be able to stop the other team when they're having this kind of inning, hold it to a run or two. This is the first time that it's looked like Matz from April.
Drury lifts one to right. This one's playable for Nimmo, but going back to tag is Bird, but he'll stay put, and that's the second out. So that stops the string of 3 straight extra base hits against Matz. Who has been hanging his hat on the fact that he's been able to short circuit these big innings.
Well, this is a Yankee team that has had great success against left-handers.
There's Romine, who struck out looking his first time, and he pops one up. Might be playable. Wind blowing toward the stands. Wilmer can't quite get there. Ball hits the screen.
Yeah, you're right, Keith. I embellished before. Said 27-6. They're 23-6.
Still pretty
against left-handed starter, which is pretty good.
That's still taking care of business.
Nothing and 2 to Romine.
Oh, here comes I see they're booing because they're finally got an officer down there to remove. He's got to go.
And the fan who reached over, he's got to be thrown out. That's hit to left center. Long run for Dendecker, diving, he can't get it. Bird comes in to score. The Yankees tack on a 4th run in the inning. And it's a nightmarish inning for Matt Dendecker. Balls that he just can't quite get to. And it's 4-1 Yankees. Not a single one of these 3 plays has been easy, but they've all been just beyond his grasp.
Yeah, and all different kind of plays. 2 right center over his head, in front of him. Can't have 3 different kind of plays.
So 4 runs are home on 5 hits in the inning, and now Aaron Hicks, 8th man up in the inning. He's grounded out and walked, 0-1. To Hicks, struck him out. Inning over, but a damaging one for Steven Matz and a rough one for Matt Dendecker. 4 runs on 5 hits, 3 of them hit in Dendecker's area, and the Yankees lead 4-1 after 4. balls just beyond his reach in that inning, contributing to 4 Yankee runs in the 4th.
I think of all the Mets that have played center field, Den Decker's the most adept out there. If he can't get at him, I don't think anybody else would have.
But there were 3 different plays. You feel like his talent could have made some of those plays. But that being said, it's got to be on the pitcher. Except for the last hit in front of him, ball hit awfully hard off Matt's that inning.
Well, the one error that was off the bat of Gregorius, he made a bad break on that wrong route to the ball. And that was a big difference right there. Big hit, obviously.
Chopper by Rosario. Nice backhand. Gregorius to throw in a hop. Can't be handled by Bird. And Rosario is safe at first. So Gregorius, who made a brilliant play earlier, this time unable to make a clean throw. And Rosario has an infield hit.
Not a very good pick by Bird at first there. It's a tough pickup, that in between hop, but he didn't go at it very good with it. Didn't have good. Look at this right here, and he's not going to get it done.
Keith, I remember you making some of those plays where you two-handed.
Oh,
Yeah,
whenever I could, I would.
Hands, yeah.
Yep. In between hop, because you never knew how the ball would bounce, and I would put my throwing hand on the heel of my glove, Ron,
and just squash it
against
your glove.
And a lot of times I caught it with my bare hand and just pancaked it into the glove.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that play. It seemed as though Bird committed to the stretch too early, which made it hard for him to get the glove
You want
in the
to
right
work
place.
from the way up, and he worked kind of just forward to the ball, you know, trying to get to the ball quicker instead of just coming from the ground up and anticipating the hop.
But do you prefer to wait to stretch, or do you advocate stretching as early as Bird did?
You don't want to commit too early, and I don't think he committed too early. You have time at first base, particularly on your left side of the infield, to see where the ball is. You straddle the bag, and then you see where the ball's going to go and have plenty of time to anticipate where you stretch. If you stretch too early, that's called committing, and you don't want to do that.
I also think the way he threw his glove out there in the sideway position, that does not afford you the opportunity of the size of the glove.
Right. I agree. It was.
Den Decker struck out his first time up, still looking for his first hit of the season.
Yep.
And Gray throws one at his feet with a cutter, 2-1.
You know, back to that pick right there. You stride towards the throw. The throw is coming to you. You want to stride. And what Bird did was this. And because he was an in-between hop, I think he got a little nervous. You want to just go. You can always go back and up and get a longer hop. There's different ways you can do it, but it's always. Or when you get the ball in front. That ball you could not get in front. So that was just a little botch on his part.
But not an easy play.
Not an easy play. The in-between hop is always the toughest.
Well, Rosario will take it. It snapped an 0 for 12 stretch for him. There's a guy who can probably pick it if we're in the right jersey. Luis Lopez was always great at that. Two and two to Den Decker with Jose Reyes on deck. By the way, tell me if you heard this one before, but Matt Carpenter homered for the Cardinals today.
No, he's hot.
6 straight games?
5 now.
5?
Yeah. 3 home runs yesterday. They're tied 1-1 with the Cubs in the 4th. You seen his numbers?
Yeah.
It's like late April. And just back in time is Rosario.
Sonny Gray is a great athlete. He's got a quick move.
Oh boy.
Put something on it.
Cutter misses low and in. It's a full count to Den Decker. Gray has walked 1, struck out 4. Allowed a run on 3 hits.
I don't think with the down 3 runs and Den Decker struggling at the plate, I don't think I'd let loose Rosario here. I'd hold him.
He's running. Dendecker strikes out. Sanchez's throw is a good one, but too late. And Rosario steals the base. His 7th stolen base of the year.
Well, Rosario just seems to have really turned it on. We've talked about it when we came back from the All-Star break, how he's playing with such energy there, and he stole that base easily.
By the way, how good is Sanchez's arm?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's Romine behind the plate.
Romine
also with a cannon for an arm. So here's Reyes with a runner at second and 1 out. Struck out his first time up, and in the process his hitting coach was ejected, arguing balls and strikes with the home plate umpire Larry Vanover. Reyes starting for the 9th time in the last 11 games. He fouls one off. I guess you would have to say that Reyes is in the lineup today because of Cespedes' unavailability.
Say that again.
9th time in the last 11 games that Reyes has started.
Wow.
Those are not healthy numbers. And that is not a fully healthy player. You know, we came on the air today talking about Cespedes and the events of the last 14 odd hours. Played last night, played effectively, came out of the game after playing the full game at DH. Mets Health Report brought to you by the dynamic Lexus IS, thrilling by design. Announced after the game that if he's ever going to be fully healthy, he needs to have surgery on both his heels, which was rather a dynamic, unexpected statement. Reyes flares one in foul territory, and Andujar is there to grab it. Especially in view of the fact that in Cespedes' telling, he says that if he does have the surgery, he'll need 8 to 10 months of recovery time. And so today, Mickey Callaway was forced to address it in his pregame press conference, but really didn't have much information to share. And we came on the air talking about how nobody from the Mets front office has addressed the situation. Well, the Mets have let it be known that they don't plan to have anybody from the front office address the situation today. At least at this time, they're saying that's their intention is not to have anybody from the front office talk about it today.
I had, you know, in the open, if I didn't make it the statement exactly how I wanted to, I had empathy for Mickey Callaway, because in any business you're trying to put your employee in the position to do his job well, and his job is to manage this team. His job is not to be able to tell the reporters what is going on medically with his players, and you know, that kind of stuff should have been addressed by someone other than Mickey, in my opinion.
And you know, just from the information we've been able to glean from behind the scenes, we've gotten very conflicting information about what the Mets knew about the possibility of this surgery before Cespedes let it be known to the world last night. So to me, that's why somebody needs to speak, to clear up the confusion, to let everybody know what the Mets knew, when they knew it. And this is obviously an enormous deal. This is your highest paid player, and if he has this surgery and it takes 8 to 10 months, it means he's going to miss a significant part of next season, which is far more important than what happens the rest of this season. Anyway, somewhere down the road, perhaps we'll find out more. Nimmo tops one foul.
I just think important moving forward that Mickey is in charge of talking about today's game, yesterday's game, the games in the future, and what he's doing. He's in charge of the games, not in charge of the State of the Union, to me.
Nimmo has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. And knocked down by Romine.
Beautiful block by Romine. Very athletic back there. Watch the quickness here. Gets in position. You just can't do that any better.
That's right.
Rosario at second with 2 out. And Nimmo is hit by the pitch. And the Mets have 2 men on. And with that, Nimmo gets hit for the 14th time this year, which ties the Mets club record for a single season.
Look at the bird fly in front.
We almost had a Randy Johnson incident.
That's right. Well, Nimmo's let you know he's not getting out of the way. If you're going to pitch him inside, better be precise, because if you don't, other than when he's called back for sticking his elbow out, he's going to be hit by the pitch.
Lucas Duda had sole possession of the club record, 14 times hit by a pitch in a season. Nimmo's now tied that with more than 2 months to play. So here's Cabrera with a chance to change this game quickly. 2 out and 2 on. Mets down by 3 in the 5th. Cabrera hit one just about to the fence in right field his last time up.
Nimmo didn't really try to get out of the way of that ball. 2 out that could have been a borderline. The pitch wasn't so far inside.
He's been called for that twice this year.
Yes, he has.
And now Gray behind Cabrera 2-0.
This is what has happened to Sonny Gray this year. Inability to stop the tap. He gets behind hitter after hitter and then has to finally come in.
This is an inning your team gets you 4 runs and gives you a 3-run lead. You got to go out there the next half inning and put a goose egg up.
Change up 2-0.
Pretty good pitch. Good cut by Cabrera. Still got 2 more strikes.
Cabrera fouls off the breaking ball. 2-2. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 to Cabrera. Half swing. He went around. Strike 3. Cabrera spikes the bat. He's been ejected from the game. Third base umpire Hunter Wendelstedt called him out on the check swing. Cabrera spiked the bat, and Wendelstedt immediately threw Cabrera out of the game.
Boy. Some short fuses out here today.
Mets don't have a lot of players, by the way.
Cabrera DHing today, so the Mets won't need to fill that spot till the next time that comes around.
Well, it's a big at bat here, obviously. Ronnie.
That's as close as it gets. It can go either way.
Down goes the bat. And he was immediately ejected when that bat hit the ground. Second Met to be ejected today. Still 4-1 Yankees. Home fifth inning. Aaron Judge leads off against Steven Matz, trying to bounce back after giving up 4 runs in the 4th. Judge has had an infield hit and flied out to center field in his 2 at-bats today. And takes a big rip at a slider from Matz, and it's 1-1. Giancarlo Stanton on deck, and then Gary Sanchez, 3 right-handed power bats against the lefty Matz. Rocket to left center field. That'll be an extra base hit. Dendecker plays the carom, and Judge pulls in at second base with a leadoff double. His 20th double of the year, his 2nd hit of the day.
He's red hot. And he runs well, too. And he gets around the bases. This is an automatic dub, but he really turned it on here. And here's the side swing. Beautiful balance. Look at that. I like his swing. And look at him running here. Look at these long strides.
Now Stanton, who had that 4-run 4th inning started with an infield hit. So Judge is now 5 for 8 in this series with that double. There's a strike, 1-1 to Stanton. That's to get their bullpen cranking. Jacob Rame was up in the last inning. Drew Smith, who was just recalled yesterday, looks like he's going to get to work. 2-2 to Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton against the Mets in his career, a home run every 11.3 at bats. Highest home run rate against the Mets all time. Second on that list, Dave Kingman, who did damage against the Mets after he left. Kingman had his best year as a Cub, hit 48 home runs. 3-2 now to Stanton. I think he hit about 280 that year too. Being a guy you could normally pencil in for 215 for most of his career.
Stanton not wearing that protective extension on the helmet against left-handers. That makes me feel that he's not particularly kosher with it. Well, you know, if you don't mind it, then you'd wear it for both.
I think he's most comfortable against left-handed pitching, and the numbers bear it out.
Right. Of course, when he got hit, it was by Mike Fiers, a right-hander. Chopper in the hole. Rosario had him played perfectly and throws him out. Judge holds at second, 1 away. Mets upcoming schedule brought to you by Fios, the 100% fiber optic network. Tomorrow night, Mets and Yankees on ESPN. We're back with you on SNY on Monday night when the Mets return for a brief homestand, 3 games against the Padres before they go to Pittsburgh and Washington on their next road trip.
Ronnie, you're going to be in Washington, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll meet you there.
Good. Glad to hear it.
You didn't ask me.
I just sent my.
Well, that's a
you're
given.
Always there.
That's a given.
I send my email to the proper person. Let them know my travel plans.
You're traveling tonight, aren't you?
I am traveling tonight after the game.
If you notice, I don't have that 3rd game of that homestand.
What is that about?
I don't know, but I'll take it.
It's a noontime start.
The noon start, and I'm actually gonna roll the dice and fly the day of the game to Pittsburgh.
Oh, so I should be prepared to go solo? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
get the radio.
I'll keep an eye. I'll keep an eye on the weather forecast.
2-1 to Sanchez, who's flied out and struck out. Matz threw just 38 pitches in the first 3 innings, 39 pitches in the last inning and a third. Off the end of the bat on the changeup, 2-2.
What we really should do is, Keith, when you travel on the day of the game from Pittsburgh, As we, not by car, by plane. We should send Kenny with you. He can document it. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, he can do it himself. He's got his little live Twitter feed.
That's true.
You can live tweet your entire journey.
I always get nervous when I fly the day of the game. It's a short flight. I'll keep an eye on the weather.
2-2. Popped it up. Here comes Flores looking to help out Plawecki, and Wilmer makes the catch in foul ground. Wilmer had to come a country mile to get to that ball.
There's a lot of wind today, and it's making it difficult.
The wind's been blowing hard in from left field all day. So after the leadoff double, Judge still at second with 2 out, and now Gregorius, who drove in the first of the 4 Yankee runs in the 4th inning with a triple that was just beyond the reach of a diving Dendecker in center field. So Didi's 4 for 7 in the series. Double last night, triple today.
Got to have this out if you're Mats. And if you noticed right before that pitch, shortstop Rosario cut in front of Judge. Wonder if he's trying to make sure that Judge is not seeing the signs. He didn't do it this time.
Something the Mets have done a lot with Rosario this year, with a runner at second base. It's really something I haven't seen much of before.
See, Gene Segura does it. Andrelton Simmons does it for the Angels.
Up and in with the fastball, and it's 1-2 to Gregorius. One-two coming. Fouls it back. Well, they must have a lot of rain in D.C. The Braves and Nats aren't scheduled to play for 5 hours. They've already been rained out. Just fouled.
I know we got 2 outs here, but they had a little dust up last night, didn't they, between Scherzer and Strasburg after Strasburg came out after getting hit hard against the Braves.
And it just looked like Scherzer patted him on the back.
And then Strasburg didn't want to hear it.
I guess.
And Scherzer took it down the tunnel and hashed it out, and then they had a 15-minute meeting in the manager's office before they opened the clubhouse to the media following the game.
You'd be surprised how hot it gets. I'm not talking about temperature. How hot it can get in the dugout sometimes between teammates. Sometimes you just can't take.
Really?
I'm saying you gave up 6 runs. You're coming out of the game, and someone makes a comment. You just don't want to hear it.
Popped up, should be playable for Bautista, and he grabs it right in front of the railing to retire the side. Nice work by Mats after the leadoff double. He strands Judge. Still 4-1 Yankees after 5. Yankee Stadium, McCombs Dam Park, where some young aspiring Major League Baseball players.
That's where the old Yankee Stadium stood.
Yep.
Little left-hander on the mound. Little port sider.
Southpaw.
So you can play and dream at the same time.
Nice.
Sixth inning, Wilmer Flores leads off against Sonny Gray, who works with a 4-1 lead. Wilmer has one of the Mets' 3 hits. A little dribbler for an infield hit his last time up. Michael Conforto on deck, and Wilmer chases a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. And Wilmer hits it twice. That's hard to do.
TC Chen.
That's in-game box score brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Conforto's home run accounted for an early Met lead, but that's the only run they've scored today, a day after they put up 7 runs and 10 hits last night. Wilmer punches one right to Bird. Soft liner for the first out.
The breaking ball of Gray has been quite effective. He's one of those guys that the problem that why everyone is so alarmed is that his stuff is A+, so that he's having these results of an ERA in the 5.5s, an ERA over 8 at home. Is just baffled his pitching coach and everyone involved with the Yankees because he's too good to have these kind of numbers.
Conforto's had 2 good at bats already today. Each was a 1-pitch affair, and this time he takes a curveball for a strike. He banged a home run on the first pitch fastball in the second, and he lined out on a first pitch curveball in the fourth. David Robertson up in the Yankee bullpen as Gray about to throw his 85th pitch of the day.
Well, here's the second inning home run right here. Fastball pitch he hasn't been getting squaring up with. Been a little tardy most of the first half, so that's a good sign right there.
Curveball away, 2-1. Well, last night 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Today a home run and a line drive out. Just trying to get some consistency going in a year in which that has really completely eluded him. And that curveball hit down the right field line, hooking and going foul. Bautista on deck. Interesting that Robertson would be up here in the 6th inning with Gray right now looking pretty good.
I think if I had to be the devil's advocate, I think what they're trying to do, 6 scoreless in his last outing. They want to get him through 6 and then go to the bullpen with the lead because their bullpen's the best in baseball and give him another building block to build on.
Agreed. Build his confidence.
But you got to get through the 6th.
The question is, how much rope does he have here in the 6th?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Now with Robertson out there and Betances and Chapman.
But he's heading down toward the bottom of the Mets batting order, which today is not a powerful group. 3-2. And Conforto takes a walk. So another quality turn at bat for Conforto. Just the 2nd walk of the day for Gray. And the Mets have a 1-out base runner for Bautista. Jose was robbed of a base hit by Gregorius on a play up the middle in the second. Then he drew a walk in the fourth. And that fastball just missed.
The strikes you get early, you don't always get late from Mr. Vanover.
Late game shrinkage.
Maybe. Ask George about that.
I was in the pool. 1-1 to Bautista. Jose lays off the slider. 2-1.
Although Gray's taking his time here, I think you'd have to say that Larry Rothschild has done a good job of speeding him up a little bit, working a little quicker.
Well, he couldn't work any slower.
That's true.
If he worked any slower, he'd be Daisuke Matsuzaka. We'd have to put the
clock on
him.
Oh.
Traxel.
Yeah, we never put the clock on Traxel. I think we were in his last year with the Mets was our first year on SNY. We hadn't gone down that road yet.
But I had been around.
Yes, you had.
But we never thought about clocks back then.
Well, I just know that there were fans in the stands who would just yell at him, "Throw the ball!"
Yes.
Outside, ball 4, and now Gray's issued back-to-back walks. And so perhaps it was prescient of Aaron Boone to get Robertson up in the bullpen. Does it go to him now?
Knows his personnel, right? He's on the top step.
Here he comes.
So Gray fading a bit.
That's it.
And he'll be out after 5 1/3. Let's get the tying run to the plate in the 6th in a 4-1 game with Plawecki coming up. Robertson coming in to face him. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. 4-1 Yankees in the 6th. We'll be right back. Mets starting with the Cespedes bombshell last night. Pat Ressler got thrown out of the game after arguing balls and strikes as Dribble Cabrera followed him into the clubhouse, spiking the bat after getting called out on a check swing and getting ejected by Hunter Wendelstedt. But the Mets get to the tying run to the plate here in the 6th inning. David Robertson in to face Kevin Plawecki. And he goes after a first pitch slider, 0-1.
Robertson, who followed up Mariano Rivera as the closer here, signed a big contract for the Chicago White Sox, is now back under the fold and in his 44th game.
And his numbers are tremendous. Both lefties and righties hitting well under 200 against him. Plawecki's 0 for 2 today. Flied out, grounded out. Ball and a strike. Sonny Gray went 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run so far, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a home run, 94 pitches.
Robertson learned the cutter from Rivera, but he's got a very good curveball to go along with it.
He's become more of a breaking ball pitcher, and as he's gotten older.
Haven't they all?
Oh, no.
Fastball for a strike, 1-2. David Robertson, now 33 years old. Part of an outstanding Yankee bullpen. And there's the curveball fouled off. Ahmed Rosario waiting on deck. They started out sunny. Now it's gray. Such the life of an oxymoronic right-hander.
That's right.
2-2 to Plawecki.
Well, it should be no surprise going over the numbers this year. Sonny Gray is just averaging a bit over 5 innings per start. That's where he's living right now.
Well, you have to say, the way his year has gone, this is a very productive outing for him. His 2nd straight.
Keith was saying an interesting point, though. 3-run lead and 2 walks. Can't allow that to happen.
Plawecki lays off and runs the count full. So after Gray exited following 2 straight walks, Robertson runs a full count to his first batter. Conforto at second, Bautista at first with 1 out. And Plawecki goes down swinging for the 2nd out.
With the hammer, Keith?
Breaking ball that just stayed inner half. Just swung over it.
It's that slider he's been throwing more this year.
That's not where he wanted to throw it, Gary.
Nope. Worked. Results, not process.
I hear you.
Here's Rosario, 1 for 2, had an infield hit and stole a base in the 5th inning. Snapped an 0 for 12 stretch. And he flails at the first pitch breaking ball, 0-1. Comes up looking at his left hand. No batting gloves.
It's a new development, isn't it?
It is.
It's a rarity.
Sure, Keith approves.
Oh, yeah.
Curveball line right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Conforto around third. He will score. Bautista heads for third, sliding in safely. Rosario with an RBI single, and it cuts the Yankee lead to 4-2. Second hit of the day for Rosario. So the Mets cash one of those Sonny Gray walks.
There's another slider that stays inside. But Rosario up to the task and kind of muscles it out there into the opposite field.
He's doing it all, isn't he? So athletic for 37 years old.
Now the tying runs are on base for Matt Dendecker, who's been up twice and struck out both times.
Well, good hustling by Bautista. 2 outs on contact. You're running.
This will be a good spot for Dendecker to get that first hit. The throw hits the runner. Bautista breaks for the plate, and he scores.
Oh, boy.
Checking in on Rosario at first. The ball bounded away, and Bautista alertly comes home with the second run of the inning to make it 4-3.
Well, going first to third sets this whole thing up.
He hit Bautista right in the shoe. It'll be an error charge to Robertson, allowing the run to score.
Rosario off the bottom of his foot. Heads up by Bautista. You don't score if you're over there napping. He was heads up.
So now Rosario the tying run at first. He's already stolen a base today. There goes Rosario, and Dendecker fouls it off.
Always keep your eye on the ball, left your screen.
His jump was perfect.
Yep.
Right.
Ball's in play.
Well, they're throwing it first.
It's all heads up.
So Bautista barely steals a run. Dendecker dribbles one. That's a foul ball. Romine caught it in the batter's box, slapped a tag just in case. But it was foul.
You've seen some little things from Bautista. In yesterday's game, he was applauding Conforto for throwing to the right bag. He threw his bat down in the on-deck circle and made sure he was at the plate when Cespedes was scoring to tell him to slide or not. Going first to third on that play, and heads up to score on the error by the pitcher. That's 2 days' work.
Some serious leadership by example for a guy whose career appeared to be done. It is anything but done. Two and two to Dendecker. And he goes down swinging for a third time. Robertson strikes out a pair, but the Mets score twice and get within a run. It's 4-3 Yankees in the sixth. ChoosNissan.com. Yankees scored all 4 of their runs in the fourth. Gregorius, Andujar, Bird, and Romine with the RBIs. And that's all Steven Matz has given up today. He goes back out there for the bottom of the sixth after his team pulled him back to within a run. Miguel Andujar leads off. And takes a strike. And Duhart doubled on a ball that was interfered with by a fan who reached in front of the right field fence in the 4th inning.
Later shown the door.
Did the kid get to stay?
The kid left too.
Too bad.
Can't leave him unaccompanied minor.
One and 2 to Andujar with Bird and Drury to follow.
I don't think they should be allowed to stay. How many people are in the party go up to the upper tank, and last row, and you take those people and you put them in that seat.
Line the other way, and Andujar's got himself another extra base hit. Nimmo plays the carom, and Andujar pulls in with his 2nd double of the day. His 29th double of the year.
High fastball. Look at that level swing. Right on it. And I noticed one thing. I know it's picky, but Wilmer had his back to first base. You always, as a first baseman, you kids, when the ball's hit out in the outfield, you watch the runner. If it's an extra base hit, you make sure he touches first base.
Tim Peterson up in the Mets bullpen as Matz is up to 90 pitches on the day. Here's Greg Bird, and he takes a fastball up and in. Bird doubled to deep center field off the glove of Dendecker in the 4th, and drove in the 3rd Yankee run. Hit hard, base hit for Bird, and Duhart at 3rd. He's going to be waved around, and he will score. It's an RBI single for Greg Bird, his 2nd RBI of the day, and the Yankees back to a 2-run lead. It's 5-3.
Bird, who's been having his troubles this year, injuries, that's going to be it for Matz. This covers this ball, and I think right there you got to pull him on the left-hander. Bird rips a line drive to right field.
The 2 left-hand hitters in the lineup, 3 for 6 against Matz today, and he'll take his exit after 5 innings plus. Tim Peterson coming in. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. We'll be right back. Programs from through the years. matching New York teams. Of course, it was only in the World Series until interleague play began in 1997. Yankees Dodgers, Yankees Giants, Yankees Dodgers, Yankees Giants. Tim Peterson in to pitch to Brandon Drury.
See Peterson's numbers. That ERA hasn't been inflated because the last 4 2/3 innings he's given up 6 runs, 2 in his last outing against the Nationals when he only got 2 outs.
Drury is 0 for 2 in 2 fly ball outs. Matz threw 92 pitches over 5 innings plus, 9 hits, 5 runs so far, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And after a pretty good run of positive outings, not so fine today for Steven, who's never really had much success against the Yankees. Ball on the corner, 1-2.
Tim Peterson really has that Iron Mike action, and what I mean by that, straight over the top. You don't see many pitchers throw that way today.
There's a little Josh Cole mentor.
Yeah, there you go. Without the hatchet throwing.
It didn't grow up throwing tomahawks.
Tomahawks, that's right.
Yeah. 1-2 coming to Drury, and that just misses. Drury getting a rare start today. They got him in spring training, figured he might be their third baseman. Then Andujar made the team, and Drury was down with migraines. Spent some time in the minor leagues.
Well, I mean, kind of Wally pipped as soon as he went on the DL. Andujar just came up and lit the world on fire.
Popped up, shallow right, Reyes out, Nimmo in, and Nimmo takes charge of it. That's the first out of the inning. Wake up with Dan, Byron, Marissa, and the rest of the Pix Morning News crew with breaking news, traffic, and sports, plus the latest weather to keep you in the know. Mornings from 4:30 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, New York's very own. It's like you're living in a fishbowl.
Yeah. That's what it's like sometimes.
Did you feel that way when you're on the field? Did you ever feel like you were in a fishbowl?
No. The only place was you felt like you were in the tidy bowl was at Stade Olympique.
Tidy bowl. The only
tidy bowl men.
The only time, and you would not know this, the only time you feel like you're in a fishbowl is when you've had a really rough outing on the road,
right,
and the manager comes and gets you, and you make that long walk, and you're going to get booed and loud.
Well, you're the pitcher. That's right. You got to walk off the field.
Like the Chicago Cubs, they play hit the road jack, the whole thing.
Well, let me ask you this one. Since you played in Oakland, that's the longest walk off the mound to the dugout in the world.
Well, you know, with the Mets, I always walked from the mound to the dugout. When I got to Oakland, after I got through my first inning against the Mariners, I ran off the field. I had never done that in my whole life, but it was so far. I was like, I guess I better just jog in there.
How about Candlestick? Candlestick, there's a long walk to the dugout.
Line caught by Rosario. Throw back to first. Far too late.
No need to throw that.
And Bird was only about a step off the bag. But that's the second out.
Candlestick, then if you wanted to leave the bench, you had to walk all the way down the right field. Right to down to the right field line, all the way down the right field line.
That was another walk of shame. That was not fun.
Yes, because those fans can be a little tough.
They would give it to you. All you'd see are people yelling and screaming at you with 1,000 pins on their hats.
It's funny how the nature of the crowd in San Francisco changed when the ballpark changed.
That's right.
I mean, that was a really gritty crowd at Candlestick. Now it's a much more
gentrified,
festive urban environment.
Gentrified.
Den Decker in left center pulls in the fly ball by Hicks. That ends the inning. Yankees tack on a run in the bottom of the 6th and lead it 5-3 as we head to the 7th. experience the joy of the Honda Summer Spectacular event. It's a Subway theme for the Subway Series.
Yes.
We go to the 7th. Yankees up 5-3. They'll bring in Jonathan Holder for the 2nd straight day.
Yeah, he threw the 8th inning yesterday. 14 pitches. He has been one of their more effective relievers. Usually he can go be their long man also.
They'll get 9, 1, and 2 in the batting order. That's Reyes, Nimmo, and then somebody. Somebody in the DH spot for Asdrubal Cabrera, who was ejected in his last at bat in the 5th. So the Mets have a 3-man bench. Ty Kelly, Devin Mesoraco, Yoenis Cespedes. We don't know if Cespedes is available. Reyes pops one up on the left side. Gregorius and Andujar, and it's Gregorius to make the catch. 1 out. 1 pitch and 1 out for Holder. Brandon Nimmo coming up. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, as Brandon Nimmo has slumped here over the last few weeks, we've seen him start to go out of the strike zone much more than he has in the past and when he's at his best. And according to Nimmo, the reason for that is right now he feels like he's late on pitches, like he's a little behind with his swing, and so he has to commit to pitches earlier than he normally would. So usually he's a guy that can kind of wait till that last second, recognize the pitch, decide whether or not to swing. Right now, again, he's making that decision much earlier, and it's forcing him to swing at bad pitches that he wouldn't in the past.
Well, Steve, when you're late, your brain tells you got to start earlier, and that is a falsehood. And you cannot start earlier. The course of a season, you're going to slump, and you're going to lose your timing. You're going to miss pitches. You're either going to be too early, too late, and then if you think that if you're late and you're going to overcompensate by starting quicker, that is the worst thing you can do, because then you're going to prolong that slump, and you're going to make it worse. You've got a chance when you're behind the ball. When you're out in front, you've got no chance. So you just got to take the extra BP and work on going opposite field and bringing that ball deeper back and waiting that split second longer until you find your rhythm again.
Keith, is there any way to emulate the game speed though in BP? Because that's what Nimmo was saying is the hardest part. Is it's just a little different, obviously, when you get into the actual game action than when you're working on it.
Well, what I don't like in today's BP, Steve, is the coaches. I know you're trying to save coaches' arms. Coaches always were moaning and groaning about throwing us BP, but they have they pitch on the grass for BP now. It's too close. When you're in a slump, everything's fast. So when someone's, almost a quarter of the way closer on the infield grass, that ball's coming in quick. You don't want to have to rush. You want to relax. You want to have them pitch. When I played, where the pitcher's on the front of the mound, halfway between the mound and the grass on the end, you have time to kind of read the ball and get a rhythm. I think the closer you come as the BP pitcher, it makes you too quick and too tense. I know the hitters like that today. I would not.
I mean, the point of them pitching closer is to try and recreate the speed, right? Well, and that's strike 3 called. Ari Vanover punches on Nimmo. And that's the 2nd out. Devin Mesoraco will be the Mets' new DH.
So, Gary, going back to that point, good, right. Very good point. They're trying to recreate the speed. I don't want it recreated in BP. I want to relax. I'll gear it up a notch higher game time.
Because of the adrenaline.
And you're there. I mean, I want to be able to see the ball, relax, and work the ball around the field. I don't want game speed in BP.
Then if you are feeling as though you're late, as Nimmo expressed, how do you solve that if you're seeing, coach pitch at 70 miles an hour? Mesoraco hits one toward the left field line. Over comes Stanton to get it. And that retires the side.
Oh, Gary, I just think slumps come and go, and they run their course. I'm just not a proponent of game speed BP. I never have been.
Stretch time in the Bronx. Yankees up by 2. Ball being slammed into his belly.
Yes, and I mean, of course that was real. It's hilarious. I mean, training techniques have changed.
You sure?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh boy, that's some funny stuff. And what was the Babe wearing on his head in that last scene?
Well, he was taught by nuns in the Baltimore schools.
Baltimore, yeah. Looked like maybe he had a toothache or something.
That looks like Marlon Brando in Missouri Breaks.
Well, that was Babe Ruth. This is the latter day version.
And I'm thinking that Babe didn't spend a lot of time in the weight room. Didn't spend a lot of time working out. That was towards the end of his career. He was just a natural.
It looked painful though with that medicine ball being shoved into his gut.
I didn't feel the trainer. Wouldn't like him.
No, Babe didn't seem to either. Aaron Judge leads off in the home 7th against Tim Peterson. Judge had 3 hits last night, 2 more today, a single and a double. And a first pitch slider, 0-1.
Keith, you missed this, Keith.
I mean, that's some serious abdominal training right there.
Oh, I tell you what, I bet you the Babe never had an oblique.
I'd like to see some modern day ball players try to withstand that kind of treatment.
The ball players might not, but I think our truck should incorporate that into our workouts on the road.
It's the next crew photo.
Yes.
Judge unloads to deep left field. Conforto goes back and takes a look, and it's gone. Number 26 for Aaron Judge. And the Yankees have a 3-run lead again. It's 6-3.
I like his swing, and this ball's down. He's been so quick inside in this series. He's got that slightly open stance. He can just drop the barrel right down that down and in pitch.
Second straight 3-hit game for Judge, and the Yankees' first home run in this series.
Yeah, he's so strong.
The Mets have been trying to pitch both Judge and Stanton in. It's been effective against Stanton, not so much against Judge.
And you notice Judge hustling out of that box too.
Well, that was a line drive. The question was whether it would be high enough to get out
and cut through the wind.
Yeah, he can beat the wind.
Yeah, it's like a 1-iron.
Stanton's 1 for 3 today, an infield hit, and he pops one up. Wind is grabbing it. Reyes and Rosario, and Reyes makes the grab.
Wow.
And that gives you an idea about what the wind has been doing all day.
Well,
so 1 out now. Sanchez, who's 0 for 3. 1 for 8 in his 2 games coming off the disabled list. So it took the Yankees to the 16th inning of this series before they hit their first home run. Their 162nd home run of the season. Major League record is 264, set by the Mariners of 1997, and the Yankees are on pace to break that.
Ken Griffey Jr. hit over 50 that year, I believe 56. Jay Buhner hit 40. Remember Russ Johnson? He had 20 home runs that year. Dan Wilson. Paul Sorrento was their first baseman.
Right.
Edgar Martinez, of course. Alex Rodriguez.
You were no longer pitching in the American League West in '97.
I was. That's one of the reasons. Teams like that. Cleveland Indians in '95.
Right. 2-2 to Sanchez. And that changeup bounces away. 3-2. Peterson came on in the 6th and got 3 outs. Give up a leadoff home run to Judge here in the 7th. That's very shorthanded today in that bullpen. Familia about to be traded, it would appear. Lugo and Gazelman having gone far too long last night to be available today. Peterson notches his first strikeout as he gets Sanchez for the 2nd out. Which takes us to the out-of-town scores, brought to you by Altice One from Optimum. Only 2 other games going right now. Cubs have gone in front of the Cardinals 3-2 in the 7th. And the Blue Jays leading the Orioles.
71 losses if the O's go down today.
By the way, the Phillies have been rained out tonight. They're going to play 2 tomorrow against the Padres, which means the Padres will be coming to Citi Field off a doubleheader Sunday, for what that's worth. The Braves and Nats were also rained out tonight.
Are the Orioles making a little threat on the 62 Mets?
They've got 28 wins, Keith. Nobody can do 40 wins. That's impossible. Gregorius hits one out to right center, and over comes Nimmo to get it. So Peterson gives up the home run, then gets the next 3, and we go to the 8th with the Mets down by 3. Mets had the early lead. Yankees scored 4 in the 4th. Mets crept closer in the 6th, but the Yankees have gotten those runs back. 6-3 as we go to the 8th. Play of the game brought to you by Spectrum TV, the way you want it. This came early in the game. Ahmed Rosario taking a base hit away from Aaron Hicks with a perfect throw. Dylan Betances will pitch the 8th inning for the Yankees. Wilmer Flores leads off against Betances. Wilmer's 1 for 3 today, an infield hit back in the 4th. And he fouls off the first pitch fastball, 0-1.
Well, this is the beginning of the doomsday bullpen for the Yankees. Betances, look at those numbers, 72 strikeouts and 41 in the 3rd. That's over 15 and a half strikeouts every 9 innings.
And remember, after he struggled late last year and early this year, there were some people who wanted to run him out of town.
Well, because he was having trouble with control, but he's gotten that under control, and he's got one of the best wipeout sliders in the game.
Back to being the dominating force in front of Aroldis Chapman in that Yankee bullpen.
He is a monster on the mound.
Well, the Yankees kind of lead the league in big dudes.
I mean, no, this is off the charts. I'm sorry. That's an animal out there.
Wilmer flies one out to right, and another big dude. Number 99 makes the catch, 1 out.
I mean, you never want to get into a brawl with the Yankees, would you? Gee.
That was like the old Pirates in my day.
Pirates?
Yeah, before you, a little bit Stargell,
Yeah.
Richie Zisk. You had Dave Parker. My gosh. You had Jim Bibby. Oh, monster.
Yeah, Dave Parker was scary big.
Yes, he was.
Here's Conforto, who's had a really good day at the plate. Home run, line drive out, walked and scored. He pops this one a mile high on the right side. Wind is blowing it back toward the screen, and out of play.
Hard to believe,
That ball was in fair territory when it first went up.
Yes,
and wound up in the stand.
It is. And just think of the old ballpark we showed you earlier with the more space. That is a tough day for a catcher, any infielder.
Wind's been blown out of the east all day. And grabbing hold of every pop-up. So Conforto gets a life out of that. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And the slider in there, strike 3 called. So Conforto caught looking for the 2nd out. Now you can watch the Pix games on the go. Just log on to Pix11.com or download the Pix11 app for mobile devices. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Bautista, who's walked twice, stole a run in the 6th inning, went first to 3rd on a 2-out hit, scored on an errant pickoff throw, and he takes a strike. Sonny Gray went the first 5 1/3 for the Yankees. 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. David Robertson allowed a hit in 2/3 of an inning. Jonathan Holder a 1-2-3 7th, and Betances has set down the first 2 in the 8th. I guess Dylan Betances would be the only New York City native
in
Brooklyn? The Subway Series. And a defensive cut by Bautista to stay alive.
Bautista's had 15 at bats against Betances, 5 for 15 with a home run.
Betances born in Manhattan, high school in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Grand Street Campus High School. And the slider has him bailing.
Almost a strike, by the way. No. Take that back.
Bautista able to lay off 99 off the block. Bautista has good numbers against Betances, 5 for 15 with a home run. hit outside.
He just wanted to get to that 3-2 slider. More like a slurve.
Call it what you will.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Dastardly. 3-2. There it is, and it strikes out Bautista. A 1-2-3 inning for Betances in the top of the 8th. Still 6-3 Yankees. Stop by today for a juicy quarter pounder with cheese at participating McDonald's. Oh, let's check back in with the Little Leaguers across the street. Goomsdam Park. Looks like full count.
That's very cool.
Anthony Swarzak on to pitch the bottom of the 8th for the Mets.
So it's been a struggle, so I'm sure Swarzak happy that the All-Star game has come and went in time to maybe turn it around in the second half.
Last outing against the Nats on Sunday, he came in the 7th inning, walked his first 2 batters, and took a quick exit. So hoping that the break gets things turned in what has been a lost season so far.
Bottom of the order here for the Yankees, but they've done some damage.
Miguel Andujar has a pair of doubles. He's scored 2. He's driven in 1. Bird and Drury to follow in the bottom of the 8th. Tim Peterson went 2 innings in relief, allowed the home run to Judge and nothing more. And Andujar breaks his bat, hits it up the middle. Rosario can't quite make the play, and Andujar has his 3rd hit of the day. Cost him a bat, but a 3-hit day.
It went down with a base hit.
You don't even see Rosario in the picture,
Right.
playing him to pull.
There's a shift, and he can't get to it. Otherwise, normal defense, but they'll back it up with the percentages. As far as positioning is concerned, they'll play the percentages.
Even if he said 2 doubles to right field, does that matter to you? Or
Hey, all I'm doing is I'm just a messenger.
Rosario a little shaken up after that awkward rollover. Here's Greg Bird. Single and a double. He's driven in 2, and he fouls back a fastball from Swarzak. Maybe skinned his knuckles.
what do they used to call it, running a slide? You used to get a strawberry, remember?
That's right.
So my mom made us sliding pads.
Really?
They were like
knitted? Sewed them together?
Yep. It was a big long shorts that went almost down to your knee, and she sewed in the padding on the sides that we slid on, and you would never get a raspberry or a strawberry, whatever you want to call it.
I thought it was a strawberry.
Yeah, one time we got in trouble and Dad was working, and he said, when I come home, you guys are going to get it. I put the sledding pads on.
That's hilarious.
It didn't hurt. I faked it.
That's some good defense right there. That's how you win the Gold Glove. So Aroldis Chapman up in the Yankee bullpen. Swarzak throws a fastball by Bird for his first strikeout. 1 out and 1 on. Sunday, August 5th is a McDonald's Family Sunday. The Mets take on the Braves at 1:10. All fans in attendance will receive a Topps commemorative baseball card pack. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game in the Mr. Met Dash, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Here's Brandon Drury up 3 times, hit 3 fly ball outs. One more, he'll have a perfect Chris Bryant day. On the corner for a strike. I always remember that because Bryant was the first guy who said publicly, my goal every day is to hit 4 fly balls.
Yeah.
And we thought he was being a little ridiculous. But now everybody in baseball is trying to do the same thing.
Yep.
You got to have some major pop to do that, though.
Well, is that maybe a reason why we have more strikeouts and hits, too?
Know thyself.
Well, I think most of the thyselves believe if they don't hit home runs, they're not going to have a job.
Well,
because that's what is the currency of the moment.
That's the first time I heard that was from Lenny Dykstra after '86. And Lenny had that good rookie year for us, and then '87. So I heard it. He said, Lenny came to me and said, I'm not going to get paid if you don't hit home runs. I go, well, Lenny, what are you, crazy? Get a 400 on base percentage, hit 300, score 100 runs. They're going to pay you.
Line the other way, and Drury's got a base hit. First to third goes Andujar. The throw by Nimmo on a hop, bounces away from Bautista, and that will allow Drury to go to second base. Second and third and 1 out. No more of a line drive than a fly ball from Drury, and he has himself his first hit of the day.
Well, that'll be an E9 on the back runner advancing, which is Drury here. Nice hitting the opposite field. Overthrowing the cutoff man. Rainbow in.
If he picks that up successfully, Andujar's going to be out.
Andujar's got a slide.
Exactly.
Nice hitting right there, going with that ball. Slider. Well done.
Infield comes in. Austin Romine, second and third, 1 out. And Swarzak throws a fastball by him. So it is a single and then an E9, allowing Drury to move up. Romine has an RBI single today. He's also lined out to short. So he's hit 2 balls hard. He's 1 for 3. Grounded to Reyes. Doesn't have a play at the plate. Has to go to first with it. Andujar comes home with an insurance run. It's 7-3 Yankees. So Romine has his second RBI of the day. Drury winds up on third, 2 out. After the Mets cut the Yankee lead to 4-3 with 2 runs in the 6th, the Yankees have added single runs in each of the last 3 innings to expand it. Now Aaron Hicks gets his 5th plate appearance. He's 0 for 3 and a walk today. In the 9th, the Mets will have Plawecki, Rosario, and Dendecker, 6, 7, and 8 in the order coming up. Presumably against Aroldis Chapman, even though it's no longer a save situation for him. And a fastball strike to Hicks. Jason Shreve is also up in the Yankee bullpen, so perhaps if they tack on another, it'll be Shreve rather than Chapman. One and one to Hicks, and the fastball misses. 2-1. Steven Matz went 5 innings plus, allowed 5 runs and 9 hits. He's on the hook. Tim Peterson 2 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, and now Swarzak has yielded a run in the 8th. Hicks fouls off the slider. 2-2. Two coming, and it just missed inside. Full count. Net pitchers have only walked 1 today, and that was Hicks, who was walked by Matz in the 3rd. Drury at 3rd with 2 out. And Hicks hits one right behind the bag, which is right where Rosario's playing, and that retires the side. Yankees tack on a run. They take a 7-3 lead into the 9th. Saturday when the Mets visit the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Spectrum Picks pregame right here on Pix 11, New York's very own. 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. Not a save situation. Yet Aroldis Chapman is on nonetheless.
Well, with the break, get some work in for Chapman. Game is not until tomorrow night. Phenom since he first hit the major leagues, and he hasn't stopped since. Still throwing 100.
fifth All-Star selection this year. Kevin Plawecki will lead off. Plawecki, Rosario, and Dendecker for the Mets in the ninth. Chapman trying to lock it down for Sonny Gray, who went the first 5 1/3. Yankee bullpen has turned in 2 2/3, allowed no runs, 1 hit.
Big gust of wind came and flew in the face of both Romine and Plawecki.
Catchers have enough other problems. They don't need stuff blowing in their eyes.
Right.
Especially when they're about to face 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Or 97. Chapman now 30 years old. Reds, Yankees, Cubs, Yankees.
Well, you know, I mean, not only did he re-sign with the Yankees, but when they sent him to Chicago, they got Gleyber Torres, who now is, I mean, could be a game-changing player.
Best of both worlds. I mean, they always say when you trade a player at the deadline, he's going to be a free agent. Yeah, he can re-sign with us, and sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And Mets just did that with Jay Bruce this year, but it doesn't happen very often. But it's worked out perfectly for the Yankees. And I think also that trade of Gleyber Torres, who was a huge prospect, it's not like he snuck up on people, for a short-term rental. I think that level of prospect is not going to move for a rental in the future, because other organizations see what happened there and it's going to make them a little shy.
Well, it was a perfect storm. I mean, the Cubs were looking for a title that they hadn't had in 108 years. You know what I mean? And they needed a closer to put them over the top, and they chose the right decision.
Barely.
Barely, but still worked.
They nearly messed that up badly in the World Series.
Rajay Davis tried to change it up, right?
I think just the overuse of Chapman,
I agree,
in non-essential situations nearly cost them that World Series. I mean, there's ball 4 to Plawecki, and the Mets have a leadoff base run. I mean, I know Joe Maddon is revered and rightly so. But if they had lost, his usage of Chapman in that World Series would have been one of the prime reasons.
Well, we've seen that before, though, but not in the World Series. Remember the Brewers when they acquired CC Sabathia?
Right.
They knew he was just a rental because they could not afford him when he became a free agent. He pitched more innings down the stretch, went 11-2.
And they pitched him on 3 days rest on a number of occasions down the stretch.
That's right.
And CC went along with that.
Yeah.
By the way, today is CC Sabathia's 38th birthday.
Congratulations.
So, happy birthday to CC.
If you can celebrate a 38th birthday in uniform, doing pretty well.
And having a good year, too.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he has really made the transformation that so many pitchers fail to make, from being a power pitcher to being a finesse pitcher. Ahmed Rosario already has 2 hits and an RBI today, and he bounces one slowly, charging Andujar under his glove, and everybody's safe.
Wow.
Rosario with his 3rd hit of the day, an infield hit on a ball that somehow got underneath Andujar's glove.
I don't know how this got under his glove. He's there. It wasn't there.
Misjudged how much spin it had on it.
It had what, the little English?
Took the wrong angle. He came in at one point and then it darted to his left.
Well, you know, if you play that ball left to right, Ron.
That's right. You got to play it up against the wind, Gary. You can hold it against the wind.
Well, here's Ty Kelly, who celebrated his 30th birthday yesterday. His first appearance in the series. Batting for Dendecker, who went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, so it gives the Mets a right-handed bat against Chapman. Mets need one more base runner to get the tying run to the plate. Those insurance runs the Yankees tacked on the last 3 innings look enormous right now.
Oh boy.
And Chapman falls behind 2-0.
It's that old case of the closer coming in without a save opportunity. They just, I don't know if they're adrenaline junkies or what, but they come in without that extra adrenaline.
And now 3-0. Jose Reyes is on deck. Nobody up in the Yankee bullpen behind Chapman. You have to presume that Kelly's the last man available on the Mets bench, unless Cespedes is, but we don't believe he is. And that's ball 4 as Chapman misses badly, and the Mets have the bases loaded and nobody out, and they'll get the tying run to the plate.
That happened quick.
Well, these are the games you cannot let get away.
2 walks sandwiched around an infield hit. Are you shocked that Larry Rothschild didn't go to the mound?
I am shocked. The only reason he would not go is if he knows his pitcher enough that he doesn't like pitching coach to go out. But boy, the catcher went out. Didi Gregorius came in.
Reyes is 3 for 7 in his career against Chapman, who has never allowed a grand slam in his career. And a first pitch slider misses down for ball 1. I mean, his last couple of fastballs to Kelly didn't go anywhere near the plate. And now a first pitch slider to Reyes. Brandon Nimmo on deck. And now 2-0. 6 in a row out of the strike zone.
No one up in the bullpen. This is their closer.
Larry Rothschild looks like he's poised to go out there.
Call that top step.
A little Archie Bell here for the veteran.
He let Reyes swing.
Take.
And he misses badly again. I mean, he's not coming close. 7 straight balls. 3-0 to Reyes. This is getting really dicey for the Yankees. Now you're taking. And it misses outside, ball 4 to force in a run. 8 straight out of the strike zone. Plawecki trots in to score. Now it's 7-4, and the Mets have the tying runs on base with nobody out. And now Rothschild is heading to the mound.
Wow.
Still nobody up behind Chapman in the Yankee bullpen. Shreve was warming up in the last inning, so he could probably get loose quickly, and now they get some stirring around down there. So 3 walks and an infield single, and the Mets have a run home, and they have life in the 9th.
Chad Green going to get up?
Yeah, it's got to be it. Green only worked 1 inning.
No, left-hander.
It's Shreve.
Oh boy, the Captain Shreve.
I mean, the Mets have Nimmo coming up now. Chapman will face him, but then you've got a couple of right-hand batters, Mesoraco and Flores. Well, Mets have walked their way back into this game.
And you've got an activated Yoenis Cespedes on the bench.
That's it. Nimmo is 0 for 3. He's been hit by a pitch. Rosario at third. Kelly at second. Reyes the tying run at first. Nobody out. And that's 9 in a row out of the strike zone.
Good Lord.
He's also not throwing really hard.
No, he's goosing.
He's aiming it in there. Got to keep taking, right, Keith?
Yep.
At this point. And that's 2-0 to Nimmo. 10 straight balls. And the Bronx faithful getting a little restless. Devin Mesoraco next. Chapman desperate for a strike. And he misses inside. He hit him! And it forces in a run! 7-5.
My goodness.
Nimmo is hit for the 2nd time today. He's got a new club record, 15 times hit by a pitch this year. And Chapman isn't even close, and he's coming out of the game.
My word.
Walk, infield hit, walk, hit by pitch, and the Yankee closer is going to the showers.
Oh, he's going to hear it.
Chapman out, Shreve in, called to the bullpen, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. This Chapman has put the Yankees in a dicey spot. 5 batters faced, none retired, and now Chasen Shreve will come in and try and bail him out.
Chasen Shreve, who had to get 4 outs in yesterday's game, but he had warmed up earlier. Didn't take him long to get loose, so they're able to call him in quickly.
Threw just 18 pitches in that outing yesterday. Comes in to face Devin Mesoraco up for the second time. And Mesoraco pops up the first pitch foul. That'll come back out of play. 2 runs home in the inning. Kelly at third. Reyes the tying run at second. Nimmo the potential go-ahead run at first. Chasen Shreve, who has 1 save in his major league career. That came 2 years ago. A.J. Cole is up in the bullpen behind him. And Mesoraco lays off the splitter, and it's 1-1. Mesoraco came into the DH spot when Cabrera was ejected after striking out in the 5th. Devin flied out and is only at bat in the 7th. There's Cole in the bullpen.
Boy,
that's with a lot of speed on the bases. Mesoraco, it's a double play ball right at Drury. The step and throw, a run comes home, but the Yankees get 2 outs. Now a 7-6 game, but the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon.
Boy, oh boy, just what the doctor ordered for this Yankees. Surprised that Drury took it himself.
Yeah.
Very surprised. I would not have done that. I was ill-advised.
Well, we'll see if Wilmer Flores can take some of his 9th inning magic on the road.
And it's a left-hander.
Mets have the tying run at third with 2 down. Wilmer's 1 for 4 today. And Reyes darting down the line, drawing Shreve's attention. And Wilmer goes after a pitch away, 0-1. Wilmer faced Shreve in yesterday's game at a fly ball to the warning track and left. And he lays off a ball and a strike.
Nice block.
Michael Conforto would be next. Mets have 3 runs home in the ninth. Reyes darting down the line. And Flores lays off the splitter, 2-1.
Good eye, Wilmer.
Got some room there on the right side. He's going to pitch you away.
2-1 to Flores. And Wilmer tries to poke it the other way, but fouls it back. And now the Mets are down to their final strike.
Well, Shreve's got a sinker when it's down and a ball that runs away when it's up, and Wilmer chased one out of the strike zone there.
Two. And he manages to waste that away.
Wilmer, different barrel, but same city.
He's good at the game ender. We don't know if he's that good at the game extender. Two coming. And he reaches for it. It's a little dribbler. Shreve to first, and the Yankees hang on to win. Jason Shreve bails out Aroldis Chapman. The Yankees put up enough insurance to hold off the Mets in the ninth. And they even up the series, winning today 7-6.
Well, the hero of the game obviously is Jason Shreve, who gets the very dangerous Wilmer Flores, who's been very clutch late in this final out. 1-3 on your scorecard. This was a game the Yankees had well in hand. Boy, they could not afford to lose.
But the add-on runs in the 7th and 8th by the Yankees, a home run by Judge and Andujar with a big day. 3 runs scored was the difference.
Game summary brought to you by Mazda. Feel alive. Sonny Gray gets the victory. Aaron Judge hits the Yankees' only home run in this series so far. Conforto went deep for the Mets, who tried to fight uphill but came up 90 feet shy as the Yankees win this one 7-6. We'll have more